Man, so where do we start with Kitana? Let me tell you guys something about Kitana. I don't think Kitana will ever be as good as she is in any future game when it comes to Mortal Kombat 9. I don't know who designed Kitana in this game, but whoever designed Kitana in MK9 went full out Royal Adinian goddess tier. Because Kitana was absolutely ridiculous in this game, and for a lot of characters in the game, they couldn't even touch her. She was so powerful in this game that she actually beat some characters 9-1 because they physically could not fight or touch her. That's how good she was. So Kitana was a top 10 character in this game. She was one of the best characters in MK9, and she had a very unique playstyle. Unlike other characters in this game, characters don't really fight with weapons. Kitana was different though. A lot of her normals had weapons where she's using her fan. She's got a lot of range. And I'm going to put Melina on block just so you can kind of see what her moves do, because this is going to be one of the reasons that makes her such a good character in this game. So she's got all these normals with crazy hitboxes, and you can see that a lot of them have a pattern. You see how Melina's getting pushed back on block? All these attacks are just kind of, they don't leave you close to Kitana. They leave you in like a space, like range 1 or 2 away from her. So she's got all these normals and attacks that leave you away from her. And they all put you in this range where you're not point blank in your face to deal with the poke game. So every time she's fighting you, she's putting you outside her space, and she's such a good whiff punisher character. And she's got these crazy normals with disjointed hitboxes. You know, these moves don't have hurt boxes for her on the extended tips, and they eat through everything. But Kitana has some of the most broken hitboxes you guys are ever going to see when it comes to NRS games. And she had one normal in string, which was the biggest culprit of this, and it was her 2, which is this. This is her standing 2. A quick, high poke attack where she's pretty much shoving her fan in your face. It's kind of like her down 1, but the high jab version of her down 1. So, this move was insane because it looks like a complete high, which it is. The move is a high. It will not hit anybody ducking. It's a true high in terms of actually hitting people, but it works on anybody crouch blocking. It does not matter if you have a low hurt box, medium hurt box, big hurt box. This move will hit anybody that touches the block button. So Kitana, low hurt boxes did not matter versus her best moves because they were always going to make contact on you. So this move was a high attack that if you blocked, you just had to eat it. And the extension 2-1 was the move that had the most broken hitbox. You can see how far this move is hitting, and the pushback is insane. It pushes you back really far from her, and for you to approach her after that, a lot of characters just could not. And she was also one of the best anti-air characters on top of that. So Kitana in this game was like a wall. She was like a wall of hitboxes while being extremely safe. Like, I don't even think she had anything that was punishable on block, honestly. All of her strings and specials and moves, and even the size of her projectiles. If you look at her fans, they're like the size of the moon or like an asteroid that she's chucking at you. The fans in the newer MK games are not even half as big as the fans were in this game. These fans were the hardest projectiles to jump over. They had the biggest hitbox when it came to throwing projectiles and air projectiles. They were massive. So let's get back to her string though. So to touch this up, we're going to talk about why her 2-1 was insane. This was one of the best strings in the game. It was a disjointed hitbox that extends into a follow-up 2-1, and then the second hit has a huge phantom hitbox. And what a phantom hitbox is basically a move that hits outside the range of the animation. So you can see when Kitana twirls her arm like that, you see where the fan swipes. But the move actually hits further than that. You can see how it's actually touching Melina, even though it's not even touching her. It has a phantom hitbox. It hits outside it. So even like this, look, I'm going to put Melina not to block. You can see how far the move is hitting. And it's physically, like the slice is not even really touching Melina, and it's still hitting. This normal was insane. The second part was a true mid, and it puts Kitana in this crouch state, So it made her duck a lot of highs. Like if you had somehow a high that reached that far, or like a projectile, sometimes she would duck under it because she enters this kind of low profiling stance with this humongous hitbox that she throws out there. And this move, of course, was completely safe at block. It was -5. Insane pushback. A lot of characters couldn't even check or do anything after when you blocked this move. So it was very abusable. If you tried to read it and you made a jump, she had a third extension, which was 2-1-2, where she would do like a forward dash attack, which was also safe on block. But in neutral, when she was, you know, using the string in choke points, you know, trying to control space and hit you for sticking out a limb, if you happened to make a jump at that time when she went for it, you couldn't even land the jump in to punish her because Kitana players would do 2-1, and then if they saw you jump while they're doing 2-1, they would finish the string and do 2. And the 2-1-2 had barely any whiff recovery, and it would move her forward. So if you were to like jump during this happening, she would go forward and evade your jump in, and then be back in her neutral range, which is what she excelled at. So Kitana was, and like I said, she was a wall. She was very hard to get in on point blank. And if you got in on her, you better hope you have insane offense, because it was very easy for this character to slip out and get away. Now, let's talk about everything regarding 2-1. So you guys see that it has an insane hitbox. It's a true mid. It gives her low profiling abilities. On whiff, it can be it goes into 2-1-2 if someone jumps or you place it badly and they try to do a jump in. You can immediately avoid it, go on the other side, and be safe. And if your opponent sticks out any button, I'm going to use Melina's down 4 here because Melina has the longest reaching down 4 in the game that lowers her hurt box lower than anybody. Watch what happens when you stick out a normal against Kitana's wall of a move. This move will eat anything. It will literally eat any normal you throw out. You need to have a normal with no hurt box, like Kitana Mirror or something, and that was not common in this game. Like barely, not that many characters had weapon hitboxes in this game. Kitana was one of the very rare few that had a moveset where she's using all these attacks with barely any hurt boxes. So now you're thinking, wow, that move looks insane. Like in the neutral game, like it's completely safe on block, pushes you back half screen. If you try to jump it on reach, you could do 2-1-2 to be evasive. She has amazing anti-airs. It wasn't easy to jump at her to begin with because her instant air fan was the best anti-air projectile, going into huge damage. Her 2 was an amazing anti-air long range jab, and if you jumped at closer ranges, her standing 3 covered that spot. So between her standing 2 for far jump-ins and her standing 3 for close, if she was reading a jump, you were not going to get past her amazing anti-air. So she forced a lot of characters to play grounded on her, and the thing that Kitana excelled at was the ground game. That was her thing. She was very good. She had amazing movement, combine that with her normals, and yeah, this character was like an explosive wall that would close in on you, and it was very hard for you to stick out a poke even. Like for example, all these strings on block, she's doing all this stuff. You try to stick a button out, like let's say you block something. It could be literally any string, because they have so much pushback. You try to stick a poke out after, dude, she could do something like this. You stick out poke, you are dead. Now you're launched, because this will eat any poke, and she's attacking you from a range where your pokes are not hitting her, and then you would eat damage. Now let's talk about what 2-1 leads to, because you guys are probably thinking, oh wow, she got this strong string that she can abuse and, you know, hit you. See, the thing about this string is, this string led to devastating damage. When I say devastating, I mean you are going to probably die if this hits you twice. Let's take a look at what Kitana could get. So, the way that she would combo off this was, in this game, her ground fan, which she chucks 2 of them. She chucks 2 ground fans in this game for her ground attack. Her air fan is just 1. If you do the enhanced version of her ground fan, she'll do 1 fan toss, and then she'll open up her other fan, and then enter this stance. And you can hold this down. Right now I'm holding it, and if you release it, she'll throw it, and it'll do like a 2-hit combo. And the cool thing about this was you were able to dash cancel this immediately. So if you did this, if you did EX fan toss, dash cancel, you could do that. Or you could even back dash cancel out of it, or even forward dash cancel jump. So now you're going to see how this would give her combos. So she would hunt 2-1, and if 2-1 hit you, she would do EX fan, then she would do EX fan. Cancel, then go for jump in, because that all combos. When I say this move has a lot of hit advantage, I'm not talking about like it's plus 10 or plus 20 on hit. This move is plus 100 and something. That's how plus it is. So Kitana can hit you right here from an EX fan. She reads you're going to try and do something. She clips you. She could dash up from all the way there, and that still combos. She has literally all day to combo you after. So, now that we established that, wow, if I get hit by this fan equals I eat combo, let's look at how Kitana would hit you and the combo she would do. So 2-1 hits, she confirms, then gets a jump in, goes for her meterless launcher. Then she does, of course, her B&B combo, which, by the way, carries you really far. And then she'll do her combo, which I dropped. I dropped it and I did basically 50%. But yeah, whenever Kitana would touch you, you're losing 50%. Even this move, which was a meterless, safe, -1 launcher. And because Kitana had a 6-frame poke, if she was up against any character that had a 7-frame poke, like let's say she was up against Cabal, while she's throwing out these normals, like this, which is a devastating launcher, which leads to huge damage, after this, she would be -1, she could instantly down after, and if you didn't have a 6-frame poke to challenge her, she would beat you, because her 6-frame poke would come out at 7 for her, and if you weren't on the frame of poking out on block, the poke would just beat you. And again, she had setups to walk back, do a string, walk back, and then blow you up, and it was very scary to respond to her that quickly. Because if you had an impulsive playstyle where you like to mash against Kitana, she was the mash killer. Like, you had to respect Kitana. You had to play the footsie game against her. You could not scrub Kitana out. You had to play the game against her on the ground. You could not just scrub and mash. Because Kitana would literally eat you all day for breakfast if you tried to do that. And this meterless launcher wouldn't do as much as the EX fan cancel combo because it's meterless. But the damage was nothing to laugh at. I dropped the combo again, but you can pretty much see how, wow, this character is doing 50 almost every single touch. She was not, her damage was not a joke in this game. She could kill you in 2 hits if you guessed wrong. So, her normal, going back to this, the insane crazy hitbox. Now, it wasn't only the 2-1 that had a broken hitbox. It was her standing 2 that also had a broken hitbox. This move, I don't know how, but looking at it visually, you can see that it looks like a high attack. But actually, the hitbox from this attack goes all the way from the ground, from the floor, all the way up to her fan. Even though it's a high. It has a high property, so it won't act as a mid. But technically, if your opponent is in weird reaction states, the move hits from the ground all the way up. Like her 2-1 attack. So, and a way to implement this exploit on the hitbox was offer forward throw, because a lot of people love to delay tech roll against her forward throw. They like to delay on the ground. Not a tech roll, sorry. They like to delay on the ground. So Kitana had one of the best throw games in this game. Her forward throw. People love to block against Kitana. You wanna know why? Because they didn't want to get hit and lose 50% life, that's why. So people like to block in this game. Kitana had an amazing throw. She had a hard knockdown throw, which set up pretty much throw loops. She could dash up, throw you, was plus 15, and then she could dash up again, and basically keep throwing you. And this made people want to be like, oh my god, am I going to wake up or am I going to keep eating these throws? If you wake up and you're wrong, you're losing 50, and you're going to go to the corner. So a lot of people would opt to just play safe. They would either just get up and either take the strike throw mix-up, or people would love to do this in this game. This is called, let me put it on human, this is called wake up delay, where you just stay on the ground because you don't want to deal with the, you know, the enforced Oki. So Kitana could just do this. If you decided to wake up delay, she could do this. So I'm going to put Milena on delay. Do you see what just happened? Her 2 hits you even though you're laying on the ground and forces you to stand up. So if you were laying on the ground and you were not blocking, you were forced to block that. If you dare lay on the ground against Kitana and not block, you just lost 50% of your life and you're going to the corner. You had to block against Kitana. So that put people in a very high pressure situation where they were like, oh my god, do I just let this character keep throwing me to death, shimming me, blowing me up? I'm scared to press the button. I can't jump. Her anti-airs are amazing. She's just a wall that's bringing me to the corner. Her 2-1, the hitbox on it, like I said, I've never seen a move in a game that has this kind of hitbox. This entire string is absolutely ridiculous for it. It fits her playstyle so well. The 2 forcing you to stand up and giving her staggers. You could even stagger too. If your opponent was waiting for the 2-1, you could do stuff like this. stagger, then go for throw. Like, this character was insane. If you loved playing footsies, you loved challenging people, forcing people to react, having people play a respectful game, and just playing. She kind of played like a sort of an old-fashioned fighting game sense. It was very grounded, kind of. Even though Kitana, in a way, could not want. If she did not want to be grounded, she didn't have to, because she had she had amazing air mobility and air projectiles and stuff. But yeah, this character at its core, she was one of the best footsie designed, grounded, wall type characters with some of the most broken hitboxes I've ever seen on normals for any NRS game. This was Kitana in this game. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.